Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Thursday! It's Thursday! Woohoo! I have limited time today, so I'm just going to jump right in, okay? Today is a full moon. It is Things to Think on Thursday. It's a full moon. It'll be our third and final day of setting the foundation for self-love. Tomorrow is Oracle Friday. I'm going to get through the self-love cards that we're using to lay the foundation, as many as I can today. If I don't finish today, we can finish it up tomorrow, which I guess will be the bonus setting the foundation day. But I want to start with the moonology because, dun, 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 again, it's a full moon. So I do want to do one. I have three, actually. So good morning, baby sibling. So let's see. We're in the gibbous moon right now, which means woo, big. And you're very close to achieving your goal. All right, you're very close to achieving your goal. So again, welcome to Things to Think on Thursday. It is the third and final day of laying the foundation for self-love lessons that we're going to start next Monday. And again, I will get through, for those that have joined me the last 2 days, I'll get through as many cards as I can today. If we do not finish today, we will finish tomorrow. All right, but I wanted to do the full moon cards because turns out they're pretty good, and from my understanding, it's the full moon in Capricorn. So, anyways, you're very close to achieving your goal, the gibbous moon. The word gibbous means bulging. What a descriptive word, right? And pulling this card at any time of the month suggests that the situation you're asking about is bulging with possibility and coming to a peak. But this isn't an ending card with a neat yes or no answer. Rather, you're being reminded that some adjustments may yet be required before you get what you want, though you're certainly on the right track, which is hopefully reassuring for you. Let's see. However, there is a sense that the situation is a bit tense, so don't push too hard. One false move and the whole thing could blow. That's not meant to scare you, it's just to let you know there's a fuse attached to this situation, so be careful if you choose to light it. Oh, good morning, Catherine. I was just thinking about you yesterday. Anyways, again, let's do the full moon cards because today is a full moon, and then we're going to get to the self-love cards right after this. So attuning to the moon, I know that I'm on the right track. So that's your kind of one of your affirmations today. You're going to get three because I got three cards, but I know that I'm on the right track. Additional meanings for this card. Now is a good time to review your plans. Keep the momentum going as you move forward towards your dreams. Stay focused. It's a good time to start a new project, and you need to get back into good health habits. That's me. So anyways, the teaching. The gibbous moon comes at the very end of the lunar cycle, just before the full moon. So technically, I guess this kind of would have been yesterday coming into today, because the full moon, I believe, will be full where I'm at around 6 o'clock tonight. So we are in the bulging part of it. So she looks like she's bulging because she's almost a full moon. So she's nearly fully rounded. It's the culmination of the waxing cycle, and as such tends to be a rather intense period of the month. No matter when you pull this card, it suggests a very ripe time and a very ripe situation. So go out there and just have fun, live your life, do what you need to do. So the full moon, which is this evening, surrender to the divine. Surrender to the divine. So let's see, attuning to the moon. I am getting the answers I need. Additional meanings for this card. A wish you made is about to come true. Ooh, it's make or break time. There could be a sense of madness in the air. Breathe deep and stay calm. You may need to forgive someone to release negative energy, and it's time to let go of the past and move on, which I know can be hard, but it is possible. The teaching of this card. The full moon marks the climax of the lunar cycle, making this card something of a power card. The full moon is often the time when answers are given to questions asked during the new moon, and pulling this card at any time in the lunar cycle suggests answers will be coming your way before too long. Good morning, older sibling. So, as we all know, the waxing moon is when you're going from the new moon, which is the dark moon, to the full moon. And that's usually when you set your intentions, your prayers, your manifestations, and you're waiting. It's growing, right? It's like planting a seed and growing it. Now, when we get to the full moon, the reason it's talking about releasing and moving forward and chasing your dreams is because as we wane back into the next new moon, what's happening is this is where we let go. This is where, once we hit that full moon and it starts to dissipate, going back towards the darker moon, it's letting go. We're releasing. Okay, so it's just that exhale. All right, so full moon in Capricorn. You're welcome. Sponsored by me this time around. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Attune to the moon, release control and trust the universe. So this card is saying, how hard are you willing to work for what you want? This card is reminding you that effort is required. Work issues may be about to come to a head when this card comes up. If you're wondering if you should stay or leave, this card can be a strong sign to make an exit. Think heavily about that before you do it, okay? It's just a sign. It doesn't say do it. The end of a rough time is forecast. So there you go. You're coming to the end of whatever bad thing you've been going through. This card also asks you to consider how ambitious you are and whether you're prepared to pull out all the stops to make your professional dreams come true without being ruthless. With a love question, this card can be a call to face reality. Whatever situation you're asking about, making a plan will help. If your personal life is troubled, prioritize it more. So attune to the moon, release control and trust the universe. That's a good one for me. Release control and trust the universe. Capricorns can, we sit on things like they're bombs, like literally, and that the only way they won't explode is if we just keep sitting there. So additional meanings for this card. A professional project may be ending now. Admit if you have been overly hard-headed or hard-nosed. Find a balance between your personal and private lives. And it's time to stop fearing the worst. Ooh, that's a good one. It's time to stop fearing the worst. The teaching. The full moon in Capricorn has a very strong work ethic and energy and will more than likely come up when you're asking a professional question. If your question is about another matter, it will serve as a much needed reminder to move through any feelings of hopelessness you may have been feeling about your situation. And this applies no matter when you draw this card. Making a plan is a far better use of your time. So, as a recovering Capricorn, don't forget to be spontaneous. All right. Capricorns are probably the least spontaneous creatures I know. And I want to be more spontaneous. I want to just live more, enjoy more and not worry all the time. That's why it says stop fearing the worst. I don't want to say this because it's probably a horrible thing to say, but sometimes I feel like Capricorns are just natural pessimists. Like we're always waiting for that other shoe to drop, right? And that's not a good way to live. That's not a good way to even think. Because you're just always expecting something bad instead of, preparing and waiting and knowing that you're worth something good. And that's kind of a good segue to self-love, right? It's about knowing your worth. It's about knowing what you're worth. It's about having respect for yourself and loving yourself and taking care of yourself and, just honoring the person that you are, the person that, in many, many cases you were raised to be. It's about respecting, most importantly, your soul and your heart. Because they kind of make you, right? We always talk about how we feel things so deeply in our souls and in our hearts. And a lot of times we become afraid because we're just worried about everything all the time. So stop fearing the worst. I think that's probably the best affirmation. It's, I swear it's one of those things I probably tattoo on my forehead. But let's just jump right into these cards. All right. So we're going to finish up, hopefully. If not, we'll finish up tomorrow morning. We're going to finish up these cards today in laying the foundation of self-love as I prepare to start us on the journey next Monday of the 30 lessons of self-love. And the whole basis of the last couple of days is, like I said, to really kind of build that solid foundation so that as we slowly over the next 30 lessons build this house of self-love for ourselves, that the foundation's not shaky, that it's sturdy, that we have something to lean on if we feel that house shake a little bit, that we don't have to worry about it being a house of cards that just fall. right? We don't want to be the three little pigs. We don't want to make one out of straw. We don't want to make one out of sticks. We want to make it out of brick. Brick house, right? Was that cool in the gang? Was that cool in the gang? I can't remember, but whoever it was, right? Sibling will know. Older sibling will know who sang that. Please enlighten me, all right? Because I don't want to give credit in the wrong direction. Oh no, was it Earth, Wind, and Fire? Oh my God, I can't. My brain. It was one of those cool bands from the 70s. All right. So, anyways, the first one, acceptance. What's interesting is I think these are. I don't know what these are supposed to be. Snowflakes? I don't know. They look like a virus. I may be conditioned already. But when I get to know new people, Rick James did not sing Brick House. I'm sorry, he did not. That was not Rick James. All right, you know what? Hold on, guys. We're going to do something fun here. Alexa, who sang Brick House?
Brick House is by the Commodores.
The Commodores! Another cool band from the 70s. All right, so unless Rick James was one of the Commodores, which I don't know, but it was the Commodores. Thank you, my Echo Dot. So there we go. Now we know. I gotta brush up on my 70s. Hey, I may have been born in them, but that doesn't mean I remember them. I'm more of an 80s child. So anyways, acceptance. When I get to know new people, I accept their actual traits rather than the ones I project on them. Same goes for not new people I already know. Acceptance is the delicate art that reminds us everyone is their own unique self and we can't expect them to ever be anything but. Man, how do those snowflakes do it? Okay, they are snowflakes, but as you will be told and as you will hear through science and everything else, no two snowflakes are alike. Each one is different. If you were able to catch two snowflakes while they're still frozen and look at them under a microscope, they will not be the same. They may be similar, but they're not the same. So, it's kind of what I like about these. They're like multicultural snowflakes. So anyways, acceptance. Let's read this one last time. When I get to know new people, I accept their actual traits rather than the ones I project on them. Same goes for not new people I already know. Acceptance is the delicate art that reminds us everyone is their own unique self and we can't expect them to ever be anything but that. I like acceptance because a lot of times when we're struggling in our own healing and our own path to self-love, we do what is called transference. We will feel something, but because we can't face it, we will project it basically onto somebody else. And then we'll be mad at them for that, even though they may not be doing anything at all. They may just sit there and sneeze, okay? But you'll find something wrong with it. And a lot of times when if we stop and think about it and go, wait, why is this an issue with me? Why am I having a problem with this? A lot of times it's because, again, we cannot put the mirror up to our own face. We cannot face what it is that we don't want to see that needs to be healed in ourselves. Or maybe we just can't see it, so we project it. We transfer it onto somebody else. And so if you ever have that moment where you're looking at somebody, you're like, why do they infuriate me so much? Maybe go back in and say, wait, is there something in me that maybe I need to heal? Now, I don't want to use the word fix. I want to use the word heal. Because, you know, you can fix all kinds of, you fix sinks, you fix broken things. You heal damage. Okay? We heal the damage to ourselves. And if you try to fix it, it's basically what? Getting new pipes, getting new wrenches, you know, to screw those little bolts and stuff on, getting tape, duct tape. Maybe you're trying to duct tape your soul back together. No, it's not going to work because those things will fall apart again. But when we heal it, you know, here's a new one. I don't know if anyone's used this before, but it's coming from me now. You have to heal it to seal it. All right. I don't know if that's going to stick, but I kind of like it. You got to heal it to seal it. And when we seal things, right, they stay closed. So you have to find what it is that is hurting inside of you, and you have to find a way to heal it, because that's how you move forward. That's how you move forward away from the anger and the pain and all that really icky suffering. Okay. Harmony. That's where you find harmony. When you heal it and seal it, you find harmony. All right. Like two little robocizing raccoons. I know in my heart that when something is right, it feels easy and breezy, even though that sounds cheesy. Remember, these are the self-helpy cards without the self-helpiness. All right. That is their motto. So anyways, with this in mind, I banish all stress, insecurity, and tedious work from my relationships. Then I invite harmonious relationships into my life and let them show up on their own. Easy breezy things are rarely punctual, which means you're just going to have to wait because they are not going to show up when you expect them to. They will show up when you need them to. All right. So again, I know in my heart that when something is right, it feels easy and breezy. With this in mind, I banish all stress, insecurity, and tedious work from my relationships. Then I invite harmonious relationships into my life and let them show up on their own time. So, yeah. So harmony. Harmony is a good thing. All right. Compassion. Oh, this is a big one in self-love. This is a huge one in self-love. Compassion, especially self-compassion. I just realized the shoes. That's so cute. So the centaur has some rockin' kinky boots. I'm going to say kinky boots because the kinky boots were red. But if you ever saw the movie or the play, I saw the movie long before there was a play and I loved them both. So I choose compassion over criticism. Walking a mile in other people's shoes reminds me they might be going through something tougher than I think. Like their shoes are too tight, or they're kind of shoes that are too casual to be dressy and too dressy to be casual. Basically, I have no idea what they're dealing with privately, so I'll cut them some slack and be thankful for the shoes I've been dealt. Now, this obviously talks about having compassion towards other people, but let's flip this, okay? Let's look at ourselves and have compassion. Maybe there is something, again, going back to the acceptance card. Maybe there's something inside of you that you don't realize needs to be healed and is trying so desperately to get out of you that it's, it's causing you to do all this kind of weird damage around yourself, right? Maybe you're self-sabotaging, maybe you're projecting onto people, maybe you're transferring onto people, maybe you're just flying off the handle for no reason. I have done these things and it always ended up coming out when I finally burst into tears that there was something just trying to be healed in me. But it was just, I would ignore it so much that it would just find its own crazy ass ways to work itself out. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be like that. It's not fun. You end up having to apologize to everybody in the sun before you because of your terrible behavior. And, this is also where self-love can come in. It can help you figure out your triggers faster. I will tell you, the last couple of days have really kind of helped me as well because yesterday was an awesome day for me. Yeah, it was probably the first legitimately wonderful day I have had in months. I wasn't worried about anything. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was giggling all day. There's a really dumb Wendy's commercial on TV that just cracks me up every time it comes on. And every time I needed to giggle, I would just say this tagline. And, it was a great day. And then I was just kind of saying, today was a really good day. An older sibling said, well, good, tomorrow will be another one. And I panicked. Because the last time I thought I had a good day, I wasn't able to string two together in a row. I tried really hard, but I couldn't. And I think I couldn't because I was self-sabotaging, because I was hurting my own chances. So I didn't really get snappy with her, but I got short with her. And I didn't mean to. And it turns out it was a trigger for me because it was making me think back to this really kind of last part of this long journey I've been on. And if you've ever run a race, I've only done 5Ks, okay? I got hurt before my 10K and I haven't gone back since. But if you've ever done any kind of race, even a 5K. For some people, they breeze right through it. For people like me, no. 3.1 miles, and you're like, oh, good God, am I done yet? That 0.1 mile is the longest fucking distance you will ever have to go if this is not your thing. Now, I enjoyed it, but of course, I'm not a runner. I always wanted to be, but my heart does weird stuff. I mean, my heart is fine and she works just fine, but there's still underlying things like a valve that regurgitates, which causes shortness of breath. So not always that easy for me, but it was always that you see the finish line, you're just like, good God, am I there yet? And a lot of it's because I would power walk through. But you see other people running by you like, wow, how are they doing that? You see other people struggling behind you, but all you're just focused on that finish line. And that's kind of what this last leg of this journey has been for me. It's been seeing that finish line and just trying to get there. And it's a struggle. That's when we need to show ourselves the most compassion that we possibly can. Give ourselves some empathy. I did apologize to sibling yesterday, and I told her, I said, I was self-sabotaging myself, and I'm really, really sorry because I didn't mean to get snippy with you. And she's like, it's okay. And I'm like, no, I don't want to dismiss this behavior because this is a trigger and I need to figure out why. And I guess it was just, I was so afraid that over the last couple of months, the last 7 or 8 months, that I haven't been able to string together 2 really wonderful days in a row, that I felt like it suddenly felt like pressure. And yet, how do we get to have a couple days in a row? We work through it. This morning, the Keurig was giving us fits. I went through 3 pods before that motherfucker finally worked. Sorry, my language, but I haven't had my coffee yet. But we did get it to work for older siblings. But I felt like it was a test. And I wasn't going to let it ruin my day. So instead I had a bowl of Lucky Charms. It's a trade-off. But, happy cereal. But, and it had the really rare gems in it, my little marshmallows. But you know what? It is something to giggle at. It is something to laugh at. But the most important thing for me that I can build my day on is, even though I didn't get my cup of coffee, and, even though the Keurig did start to work again, the point is that I didn't let it ruin my day. I immediately noticed the issue. I immediately noticed the problem. And I thought to myself, all right, I'm not going to let this ruin my day. Okay, this is not going to be a thing. And so I just shifted gears in a different direction. I pivoted. And that's what we have to do. And I did my best to show some compassion. Now, I wasn't totally compassionate because I'm still a little irritable, but it was what it was. And I did recognize it in my own way. To me, it just felt like something was just trying to say, nope, you are not going to have a good day today. I'm not going to let you string something together today. And whether it was some outside force or if it was me self-sabotaging and trying to bring myself down, I wasn't going to let it happen. I have worked too hard on this journey to stop now. Just because I hit that finish line doesn't mean I can stop. It means I can slow down and rest. But that's why I'm also doing this self-love, because I know I need to firm up my foundation. I know I need to reinforce my house of self-love. And this time, when I do it, again, for those who haven't watched the last couple of days, this will be my 3rd time. And I'm really, really hoping that it is going to solidify and really, like I said, really kind of reinforce that. Out here in California, we have what they call house bolting. And house bolting is what people do to keep their houses from falling down during earthquakes. And that's what I want to do. When there's a little emotional earthquake coming on, like a 9.0 coming, trying to knock me off my damn feet, knock my house off its foundation, I want my house to be bolted so that it doesn't. I might get a little shaker, and we'll call that a trigger. But I want to be able to know that I can handle that in that moment, that it won't go past a few moments beyond. Now, I do have a dinged up mental health, and those of you who also have a dinged up mental health, we know that some days it's going to be harder. But I feel like if I really, really get the self-love thing down, My spirals might end up being less time to recover from. My little episodes with my dinged up mental health might be easier to recover from. I won't be self-sabotaging as much. I might actually be able to keep myself from going through either of those things, or at least give myself a better footing and a better shot of not falling so deep. Self-love isn't just about learning to love ourselves and take care of ourselves. It's about showing ourselves who we are and what we're made of. It's about showing ourselves compassion. It's about showing ourselves empathy. It's about giving ourselves the grace that we give everybody else. It's time to start giving ourselves the same love and care that we show other people when we're showing them compassion and empathy and giving them that grace. That's what makes self-love so important. We're giving ourselves a solid foundation and a leg up to deal with things. And we're showing ourselves that it is a desirable characteristic, that we do deserve all these wonderful things. We deserve to feel worthy of ourselves, to respect ourselves, to appreciate the person that we are, even if other people try to drag us down. Because we are wonderful. We are amazing. Okay, so I don't think we're going to get to all of them today, so we'll have 3 more. We'll have 3 more tomorrow. And we'll start with that, and then we'll go right into the angel answers during the oracle readings, all right? But perspective. I like that, because this is the Aloha perspective. Perspective. What does a hawk see when it flies over your house, besides the family of mice living nearby that you don't know about? What will your current problems, conflicts, complaints look like when you're about 80 years old and you gaze back on the timeline of your life? In this moment, you are being given the gift of clear perspective, of knowing that in the end, everything is going to be probably much better than okay. Think large enough and even big issues become small. Become an 80-year-old hawk and you're really onto something. So, I think this is the perfect card to end on, because it is about perspective, right? It's about seeing, it's about taking a step out and looking into our own lives. You know, have you ever seen 2 people arguing right in front of you, right? And you're like, good Lord, what is this fight about? Then you start to listen, but you see both sides, right? But they can't see both sides because they're too busy yelling at each other. So you decide, hey, you know, maybe you're brave enough and you step in and go, hey, why don't you 2 stop and listen to each other? Because if you actually stop and listen to one another, you're kind of both saying the same thing. Or, you know, this person's saying they need this from you. This person's saying they need that from you. Why can't you compromise and meet in the middle? This is sometimes what we need to do for ourselves. We need to take a step out of our own house and look in. Become that 80-year-old hawk flying over your yard, flying over your house, right? Seeing all the things you cannot see. Because when we are old and gray and we look back, how important will it be? These small, minute things that might upset us, that might make us mad. In the grand scheme of things, things that trigger us and all these other things, they might be so small once we're done healing. You know, think of it as like being a healing hawk, right? You look back and think, wow. Remember, we always look at the mountains in front of us, but we never stop to look back at the mountains we have scaled. So every time you think you can't do something, give yourself some perspective. All right? Give yourself compassion, empathy, grace. Give yourself all of those things. Because sometimes those are the things that we're lacking. And that's why we struggle so hard. That's why we struggle with the self-love, why we self-sabotage. In my personal opinion and in my perspective, one of the reasons I self-sabotage is because I finally got it down to where I understood that I just never thought I deserved to be happy. I never thought I deserved to be worthy of things because of the bad things that had happened to me in my life. No matter what my parents taught me and told me that I was worthy, and they told me I was pretty, and you know, you expect your parents to say all these things. I mean, my mom used to joke and say, well, I don't think she was joking, because she was pretty serious when she said this to me. When I put myself down one time, she said, I don't make ugly babies. Because I'm like, why am I so ugly? She's like, excuse me, I don't make ugly babies. That was my mom. And she's all, I don't know who's making you think these things, but they're wrong. And she would reiterate and say, and I'm not saying that because I'm your mother, but she said, I will tell you this, I don't make ugly babies. You know, sometimes I think she's just going to pop out of my closet one day and tell me that. Because I still struggle. But the point is, we can't look for validation in other people. We have to find it in ourselves. Let's do that Oscar Wilde quote again. The one I've done every single day since Monday. Or maybe since Tuesday. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong relationship. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong relationship. You are the one person you are going to spend 24/7, 365 with. Okay? You. Or, as my friend would say, instead of 24/7, 25/8. Right? Get it? 25/8. Every moment you are spent with yourself. Every moment. You cannot get away from you. So, wouldn't it be easier to try to embrace the self-love? To try to see yourself for the beautiful, wonderful human being that you are. The intelligent creature that you were always meant to be. Because we deserve that. And who better to teach that to yourself than you? I can only plant the seeds. I can only give you guidance. I can't make you feel these things. But what I can do is relate my story to you so that you can see it is possible. I get embarrassed when I start to say that, yeah, I'm learning how to love myself. I'm finding compassion for myself, because sometimes I do feel like, oh my God, these people are going to think like, oh, well, what? Are you showing off? No, that's why I relate all the icky, ugly stuff too. Because I have finally learned how to look back and see the mountains I have climbed, which make the mountains in front of me that much smaller, because I know the mountains I've climbed. And by looking back and seeing what I've accomplished, it may make the mountains in front of me look like tiny hills. And why? Because it's like with anything. Let's go back to 5Ks. It's about training. It's about conditioning. You know, if I was able to stick with 5Ks, you know, I actually got sidelined by my doctor because I tore my knee like a billion years ago. So I don't have a lot of cartilage in there. But I was dancing. I was choreographing actually. And boom, right over. But so he actually said it's not good because of the impact, but we'll see. I still enjoy kind of run, jogging, walking. But it is about training and conditioning. The very first 5K I ever did, thought I was going to die. But then I kept training. And so the last one I did wasn't that bad, but it wasn't a lot of concrete, so it jacked up my knees. But physically, I was fine. And that's what healing does. That's what moving forward in our self-healing, in our self-love, in our worthiness, in our acceptance. You're conditioning yourself to accept these things so that no matter what anyone, like I said, says to you, you can say, I don't care. I know who I am. I know how I feel, and I know how I deserve to treat myself. I know my worth. And that's the whole goal. That by the end of these 30 lessons, even if you were at the beginning of your self-love journey, you will start to lay that foundation. That's what this part's for. It is to really actually lay this foundation and to build that house so it's strong. So when people come up to you and try to tear you down, maybe you'll have the strength to say, do you need an ear? Do you need to talk? What's really bothering you? And I will tell you, older sibling has done that with me many, many times at the very, very beginning of this healing journey. I mean, way before even my mom passed. And she used to say, let's bottom line this. What's really bothering you? Because I know it's not anything I did. And boy, that would open up floodgates. So, anyways, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Tomorrow is Aloha Oracle Friday. Again, like I said, we'll actually finish. So we'll have day 4 of finishing up the laying the foundation of self-love. But it's also Oracle Friday. I do work from a good place. I usually tap into Archangel Gabriel. So If you need any lessons, or not lessons, if you need any guidance or you have any questions, please shoot them out to your higher powers, okay? Because I feel like he is my conduit to everybody. All right, not just God, not just heaven, but whoever your deity is, whoever you believe in, the universe, whatever. I come from a good place. All right, I promise you. So whatever your belief system is, do not be afraid. All right, that doesn't mean I'm going to get the answer for you, but hopefully it means somewhere in there is some guidance. And who knows? It may be something that's red that just may hit you between the eyes and you go, oh, okay, I get it. All right. So again, tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Facebook Live under Shelley Marie Lucas. They are all public. Anybody can watch. Or I upload these videos afterwards to YouTube under the Aloha Perspective with Shelley Marie Lucas. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please, again, one last reminder, give yourself the grace, compassion, empathy that you deserve so that you stop self-sabotaging yourself. All right. Thank you so much for watching and have a great, great day.